Hi everyone, it's Mindy Egan here for Picket Studios, and in today's video I'm going to be introducing you to an amazing new product from Picket Studios. This is their paper glaze, which comes in an assortment of colors, and we will be working with it on glitter cardstock for just stunning results. So first I want to show you what they look like. So these are my sample containers. They don't have the labels on them, so I labeled them myself. But yours will come with an official label. These are just some of the colors that are available. There are more on the website, and I just wanted to give you a quick look at them and the different uses that you can use them for. So this one is the Ocean Poppy. There's also Daffodil Yellow, Snowdrop White, Black Pansy, Peony Pink, Golden Rose, Brown Dahlia, and I believe Leaf Green that I have. It is a very smooth and creamy texture, really easy to apply to stencils. It has a very pearlescent, shimmery look to it. It's just simply gorgeous. And be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to show you other ways that you can apply this to your stencils other than the glitter cardstock. So some of the ways that you can use this is, of course, the stencils. It is definitely a very good price point. It does go very far because it's very easy to spread. You can also water it down to use as watercolor, or if you really dilute it, you can paint over the top of your watercolors. So I'm also going to be working with an assortment of glitter cardstock. I happen to go through my stash. A lot of this is the Lawn Fawn glitter cardstock, and I just happen to have a color for almost every one of the paper glazes that I have. So I was really going for a very dramatic look with my cards today. The stencils I'm using are Fancy Flourishes, Funky Leaves, and the Scrolls stencil, all from Picket Studios. And for all of my cards, I'm going to be using this Fancy Sentiments stamp set. So it has a variety of sentiments on here, beautiful scripty font. And I wanted to show you real quick here just what these look like on white versus black cardstock. So this is the look at the white, and you can see that beautiful pearlescent shimmer it has to it. And it really looks good on black as well. Now, of course, you can see some areas are thinner than others, and it's going to look different just depending on how thick you put that on your cardstock, so keep that in mind. Now, since some of these stencils are pretty delicate, I'm going to spray all of them with Pixie Spray, which is just a low-tack adhesive that will help my stencils stick to my glitter cardstock. So I'm going to start off here with the Fancy Flourishes stencil. I'm just pushing that down since I sprayed it with my Pixie Spray. I'm not going to hold it down with anything else. I'm just going to let the Pixie Spray do its work. And I'm starting off with the Peony Pink. So you can see as I'm kind of stirring that up a little bit, it's very creamy, very smooth to apply. I'm just going to use this small palette knife. Starting at the top, I'm starting with a very generous amount, and I'm just going to smooth that down over my stencil. And then excuse me, I had found that once, if I went over it more and more, I was removing the glaze. So you don't want to go over it too many times. Just put a generous amount down, dragging that down, smoothing it over your stencil, being very careful because this is a really intricate stencil. So once I have that entire sheet covered, and these glitter cardstock pieces are all cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I'm taking the stencil pal and I'm just going to give that one swipe down, and I can just scrape the excess off back into the jar, and I'm going to clean off that stencil pal and the palette knife with a baby wipe. I don't want this to dry. This is very similar to any other type of texture medium that you apply to stencils. You want to clean your tools and your stencils immediately after use. So then I can just peel this away, and I'll give you a close-up look what this is going to look like. I thought these were so gorgeous. I originally did one with the Golden Rose, and then it just hit me to do these rainbow colors of cards. So it's just got a beautiful pearlescent shine to it. So once I cleaned off my mat, now the mat I'm working on is actually the craft mat off of my glass media mat. So it's just a small piece that's good enough for me to work with my surface. This is the Daffodil Yellow, and giving you a close-up there because this one I hadn't used yet, and this one was one that really surprised me. I'm not much of a yellow person, but it just looked so gorgeous on this glitter cardstock. And I do speed through a few of these. I'm showing you a couple of them, some of them that I thought just really stuck out to me. So I'll show you a few of them and I'll speed through that process. I'm doing the same process for all of them. I am going to make the same design on all of my cards. I'm going to make them all completely the same. That was just what was easiest for me to put into a video. So you can certainly, design your cards any way you want. But this was just really easy to do, and they all came together really, really quick. So I will set that off on the side to dry. And this is the Snowdrop White, and I gotta say, I think this one might be my favorite. It is so delicate looking. It's great for anniversary or wedding cards. A lot of my cards I did as thank you or hello or happy birthday because those are the ones that I really need. But this would definitely work for weddings, things like that. Now you might see a tint of red in that white there, and that's only because it's a reflection of my shirt. So it is all completely white. Now this one I believe is the leaf green. There's 3 different greens, and I think I have the leaf green. So I used the Funky Leaves stencil with this one. And then the last one I'm going to show you here is the Ocean Poppy. And the reason I wanted to show you this is it is such a gorgeous color. It's kind of have a mix of green in there. It just depending on how you tilt it into the light. So swiping that down with my stencil pal and then giving you the reveal here. And I did leave these dry overnight. Dry time, usually if you're doing a thin layer, is not going to take very long, maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. But some of them are pretty thick. So I did leave these sit overnight to be completely dry. And these are the results of all the different colors that I had done, that I had used. They're just all so beautiful, so sparkly. You can mix these too as far as if you wanted to do an ombre effect. This black one really shocked me how gorgeous that turned out. That was the black Pansy. Now I'm going to just do one card start to finish here. The rest of them are all the same. So I'm taking my paper trimmer and I'm just cutting off 1/8 of an inch on each side and on each end. This is just going to give us some really nice clean edges. This is going to measure then 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to do that to all of them, and I'm going to just angle this. Now your angle, you can do however you want. It also maybe depends on how long of a sentiment or how big of a sentiment you want to use underneath your angle. I was trying to get an actual measurement of it, but it was just easier to do it this way that I'm going to show you. So again, this green one, I cut off 1/8 of an inch on each side and on each end. And then I'm going to take the one I just previously cut. So I'm using this white one as a guide. That way they're all pretty much the same angle. And I'll just hold that in place and I'm going to cut just right after that line. And then that way they're just all the same size. So here's a quick look at all of them. There's the extra pieces that you can save for a later project. So I'm going to take that white one and we'll work on completing our card for this. So this is a piece of white cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's going to leave that little bit of a border around the edges. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment from the Fancy Sentiments stamp set. And I did kind of take it and just held it in place to see about what would fit. Like I said, this would be a great wedding card or anniversary card. But I really like the thank yous and the hellos. So once I had settled on a sentiment, I'm going to just remove that from the stamp sheet, line that up, and then I can close the door of my MISTI to pick up that stamp. And I'm going to remove my stencil piece because I don't want to risk getting any ink on that. Then I will stamp my sentiment in the Picket Studios Black Hybrid ink. So I will ink that up just really well. And the stamp set I actually left in the door of my Misty, and I stamped a couple of the cards with this one and then switched them out to a couple others. So I did do a couple of them at one time. I just, saving you a little time, it was all the same process. I kind of kept those out of the video. So after my sentiment is stamped down, I did put some foam tape behind each of these pieces, my stenciled pieces. That's just going to give it a little bit of lift, and I really like it. It's the Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. It's not real thick. It's just a really nice lift to give the card just a little bit of dimension. So once again, here is a close-up look of just all that gorgeous glitter and pearlescent shine that these paper glazes produce. Now here's the original card that I had done. And this one was using gold glitter cardstock with the Golden Rose paper glaze. So this is the card that actually inspired me to do this video using a rainbow of colors. And then here is just a final look at all of those cards completed. So there is the Snowdrop white, the Daffodil yellow. We have the leaf green on that green glitter cardstock, Ocean Poppy, Black Pansy, Peony pink, and then this is the brown Dahlia. And see, there's just that little bit of lift. And I will go ahead and add all of these cards to an actual 4 1/4 or an A2 size card base. Now I did also want to show you a couple cards without the glitter cardstock. So this is the Ocean Poppy on some Arctic cardstock. So it's a really light blue. I added just a die cut circle in the middle. And this is using the Fancy Flourishes stencil and the Hello die. So you don't have to use it on the glitter cardstock. That was just me having a lot of glittery fun. And then I also have another card here. This is actually one of the darker green paper glazes that Picket Studios has. And I applied that to a light green cardstock. So really cool doing that tone on tone. And then the Always word die and the Be Yourself. So both of those are from Picket Studios as well. So a couple options there for you. I hope that gave you some ideas and you enjoyed the video and all this glittery goodness. I will have all of the supplies listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well, along with a ton of pictures of these cards. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.